What's good, YouTubers and YouTubex? This is JB Sports, back again with another one. Eddie Hearn, the self-proclaimed #1 promoter in boxing. You know what? If I had to do a pound for pound top 5 promoters in boxing, I would have Eddie Hearn #2. I wouldn't have him #1. I have him #2. I have Al Haymon #1. I know a lot of people say, wait a minute, JB Sports, Al Haymon is not a promoter. Semantics, people, semantics. He's an advisor, but everybody know the PBC, and the face of the PBC is Al Haymon. And the face of Matchroom Boxing is Eddie Hearn. The face of Golden Boy Promotions is Oscar De La Hoya. The face of Top Rank Boxing is Bob Arum. And the face of Queensberry Promotions is Frank Warren. With all that being said, my top 5 pound for pound promoters in boxing, I would have Al Haymon #1, Eddie Hearn #2, Bob Arum #3, Oscar De La Hoya #4, Frank Warren #5. That's my pound for pound top promoters in boxing. With all that being said, Eddie Hearn did an interview with IFL TV. The interviewer asked Eddie Hearn about a potential matchup with Deontay Wilder versus his #1 fighter under Matchroom Boxing, Anthony Joshua. Eddie Hearn said, I got a lot of money for Deontay Wilder. I tried to call Deontay Wilder's manager, Shelly Finkel. Shelly Finkel don't want to answer my call, but I got a lot of money. You know Eddie Hearn was over there in Saudi Arabia, talking with them Saudi Arabia investors, talking big, telling them, hey man, I can deliver you Deontay Wilder. I can get a fight set up with Deontay Wilder. It seems to me that those Saudi investors really love heavyweights. I don't know why they ain't putting up no money for Errol Spence Jr. versus Terrence Crawford, but obviously they love heavyweights. But it's all about context. Eddie Hearn got the contacts inside Saudi Arabia. Al Haymon don't have no contact inside Saudi Arabia. Al Haymon don't have no contacts outside of the United States of America. And that's a damn shame. Eddie Hearn, you got to give him credit, man. He got contacts all over the world. You know, he's able to secure the bag for his fighter. So we will see what happens, and we will see what transpires. But he asked him about Deontay Wilder versus Anthony Joshua. He said he got the bag for Deontay Wilder, and Deontay Wilder's manager, Shelly Finkel, is not returning his phone call. But here it is today on Michael Benson's Twitter. Eddie Hearn is on the Zone Boxing Show, and he says, I got a lucrative offer for Deontay Wilder to take on not Anthony Joshua, but Dillian Whyte. Now, when Dillian Whyte got knocked out by Tyson Fury, got put to sleep like Fury gave him some NyQuil, he shouldn't be in no kind of position to be fighting a guy of the caliber of Deontay Wilder in this next fight. This guy's lost, what, 2 of his last 4 by brutal knockout. He got knocked out by Alexander Povetkin. Beat him in the rematch. A lot of people said Povetkin was COVID-19 stricken, and he took the fight because he needed the bag. And they had already postponed the fight before the rematch, and they weren't going to postpone it again, and he got knocked out in Eddie Hearn's backyard. With all that being said, it's a damn shame, man. It's a damn shame. Eddie Hearn, once again, with the smoke and mirrors, had everybody thinking that he was looking to make AJ versus Wilder, but in actuality, he was looking to make AJ versus Wilder. You know what I'm saying? No, my bad. He was looking to make Dillian Whyte versus Wilder. That's the fight he was looking to make in all actuality, and that's a damn shame. So we will see what happens, and we will see what transpires. But Eddie Hearn has always been looking to make Deontay Wilder versus Dillian Whyte before making Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder. That's been the fight that he's been chasing for well over 4 years. And this is another prime example of him with the smoke and mirrors. You know, Deontay Wilder come out on his Twitter saying that Eddie Hearn don't have no confidence in Anthony Joshua, and he's looking to secure a big money fight with Deontay Wilder, knowing that he's going to lose this fight, and basically is using Deontay Wilder as insurance. But that was not what Eddie Hearn was doing. Eddie Hearn put it out there like that's what he was looking to make that fight between Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder. But he was really looking to make Deontay Wilder versus Dillian Whyte. Eddie Hearn is over there with them Saudi investors talking real big. Hey, man, I can get you Deontay Wilder. I can get the big fight set up with Deontay Wilder versus Dillian Whyte. But you don't have no ties to Deontay Wilder. You actually don't have no ties to Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte is not signed to Matchroom Boxing. Dillian Whyte is looking at all offers, not only with Matchroom Boxing, but he's looking at offers from Queensberry Promotions, and he's looking at offers from Sky Sports. So for you to be up there talking big to the Saudi investors like you got the connections to make that fight happen, when you really don't, is that's a 9, that's a 10, that's a 11, and that's a 12. Absolutely ridiculous. But that's Eddie Hearn doing Eddie Hearn type of things once again, ladies and gentlemen. But the bottom line is Deontay Wilder is fighting Robert Helenius next. If he wins, if he's victorious, he will take on Andy Ruiz if he's victorious against Luis Ortiz. Now, Andy Ruiz is in a 50-50 fight with Luis Ortiz. Now, if Luis Ortiz wins, Deontay Wilder just came out in a recent interview and said, hey, I'll fight Luis Ortiz a third time. I'll bless Luis Ortiz a third time. We share the same situation with our daughters or special needs children. And anything I can do to help out his daughter, I would do that. So that could be a possible third fight, a trilogy. So we will see what happens, and we will see what transpires. But Eddie Hearn, boy, he ain't giving up on that dream. It's a pipe dream, but he ain't giving up on that dream of securing a Deontay Wilder versus Dillian Whyte fight, making it look to the public that he was actually wanting to make AJ versus Deontay Wilder. But this is the same thing he did over 4 years ago. Told Deontay Wilder to come to his fight and be a boxing analyst for an AJ fight. I think it was against Carlos Taker. But what he was going to do, he was going to get Dillian Whyte to run up on Deontay Wilder and get the crowd and get the public fans talking about that matchup. Because that's the matchup he wanted to make all along. You look at what Dillian Whyte said after he knocked out Marcus. What was his name? What's that white boy he knocked out? The Michelin Man of the UK? Nah, I think he's from New Zealand. He actually had a good win in his last fight, though. Good win in his last fight. Got to give credit where his credit due. When he knocked him out and he kept saying, I'm ready! I'm ready! You know, he was ready to make the fight with Deontay Wilder. But Deontay Wilder at that time was looking to get an undisputed matchup versus Anthony Joshua. He did not show up to that fight because he knew that Matchroom Boxing led by Eddie Hearn was not going to allow him in the ring to do a face-off with Anthony Joshua after the fight. And just like a boomerang, and just like it's coming full circle, we're in the same situation. Different scenario, different circumstances, but the same situation as Eddie Hearn. Just like 4 years ago, he was looking to set the stage for Deontay Wilder to take on Dillian Whyte. He was trying to do it in Saudi Arabia in the early part of 2023. And that being Deontay Wilder taking on Dillian Whyte. Eddie Hearn, once again, doing Eddie Hearn type of things. So we will see what happens and we will see what transpires. Look for Dillian Whyte to look at several offers. He's in the proverbial catbird seats, even coming off a devastating knockout loss to the Gypsy King Tyson Fury. He's in a strong position as he's receiving offers from not only Matchroom Boxing, but also from Queensberry Promotion along with Sky Sports. So we will see what happens and we will see what transpires. Follow me on Facebook, Gerard.Briscoe.3551. Like, share, and subscribe to JB Sports. The man, the myth, the legend. And I holla.